faith, and I've been told that we rest that matter there. Members, yes, Senator Sifuna.
In fact, Chair, let me begin where you say you want to rest the matter. I've seen a copy of that forwarding letter, and my only advice is that this is not the standard expected. In fact, the letter should have said the things that the CS said when he gave his response, that we hereby attach the following documentation in response to a letter so that we can know that it covers all these issues. So, Chair, allow me to begin my questions. Honorable CS, this approval by the PPP committee is the crux of the matter. So we are going to focus there. You have repeatedly referred to approval by the PPP committee, first at its meeting held on 13th March 2024, and then there is also reference to approval at a meeting of ordinary meeting held on 3rd May 2024. I perused these documents at length. I do not see the minutes of these two meetings. Did you attach the minutes of the meetings of the PPP committee that you have referenced? Honorable CS, I like that my questions are answered. I finish with you, then it will be handed to somebody else. Did you submit minutes of those two meetings?
So yes. You can answer that. The minutes are not supplied, but they're available. We can give the minutes. You know, the minutes are very bulky.
So you will agree with me, CS, that if we wanted to know what a meeting, the decision the meeting took, it is critical for us to have the minutes of that meeting. It's critical to have those minutes.
This committee will get the minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Now, I want to address something you've also touched on in your response. If you go to Honorable Chair, if you go to section, I'm getting mixed up. CS, who is supposed to submit a PIP to the committee, the PPP committee?
That should be done by the directorate. Actually, the process is the contracting authority submits to the directorate.
Correct.
Which is at the National Treasury.
Now, you have attached a letter here. A letter dated 1st of March 2024 that is signed by PIP.
Now, the law says contracting authority, but contracting authority is domiciled, in this case, in that State Department, and the procedure in government is usually when you are communicating to another ministry, it comes through the parent ministry, the State Department. So there's nothing completely wrong. So long as you indicate that that PIP proposal was to the KAA, which is the contracting authority. So the letter...
Yes, if the law was followed, the contracting authority being KAA should be the one submitting the PIP because it is delivered to them. Now let's move on to something you've touched on about the membership of this PPP committee.
But Chair, with your indulgence, I think we need to sort out that. The contracting authority here is KAA.
Yes.
They received PIP, they decided, and which there's nothing wrong, because the law does not, if the law is stating that they should not, then that's a different story. But then, so long as AAA has submitted the PIP to the line PS, and then the line PS submits it to Treasury, indicating that this is the PIP received by KAA. So I don't see any ambiguity there.
Chair, perhaps that is the view that Honorable Mbadi would want to have. I want to read you the law as it is, not as it ought to be. Section 40, subsection 4, the contracting authority, which is KA, shall submit the privately initiated proposal to the Directorate for assessment and approval. I want to move on because I have very little time. Chair, you will understand why I'm asking this question. You spoke about the membership of the PPP committee, Honorable Chair. You have taken us through the members of that PPP committee. You will agree with me that in fact, if you look at the letter of 1st March 2024, it is a letter originating from a member of the PPP committee to another member of the PPP committee. Isn't that the case, Honorable CS?
That is bound to happen because I've already said that even if he was not a member, he would be co-opted. So
that's what the letter is saying. If it is coming from the CS for transport, the PS for transport going to the PS Chris Kipto of National Treasury, those are both members of the PPP committee.
The transport PS is a co-opted member.
Members of the committee.
By virtue, is not a designated member as per the law, but the law says it co-opts the line PS. And so he is a member, co-opted member. He is communicating a PIP which was received by KAA, and by the way, KAA is the one that communicated to the PS.
Where is that correspondence in your document?
That can be found, that we can touch.
Let's move to Annexure D, which is the evaluation report. You have taken us through the standard that has been set by the law when it comes to evaluation of these proposals, Chair. I want us to go to the evaluation report at Annexure D. Are we there, Honorable Mbadi? Are we there? Yes, so there is a summary of the due diligence that is found at page 6 of that report. It starts from page 6. Are we together?
You can proceed, I can see it.
So, there is a table there, Honorable Mbadi, that sets out the parameter, the attribute, the indicators, and the remarks.
I think, Chair, maybe we are having different reports.
I am at Annexure D. This is the KA evaluation report of the PIP by Adani Airport Holdings.
You can hold a bit to get it.
Chair, I hope you not accuse me of taking too much time. It's the witness.
Noted. Which is page 6. I think we are together now. We can proceed.
We are together.
Summary of the due diligence.
Yes, you can see the parameter, the attributes, the indicators, and the remarks. I want you to go to the parameter on debarment, where you are required to have confirmation or verification to ensure that neither the proponent nor its affiliates are listed on either the World Bank and PPRA list of ineligible firms and individuals for engagement in procurement. You can see that. And on the remarks, it says they provided a sworn notarized declaration. Is that reference to a self-declaration by Adani themselves? So they did not provide anything other than what they swore themselves. Is that correct? I need you to be on record, Honorable CS, because you know this is answered.
Chair, I thought the member would just ask the question, then I respond. Because
you're not responding. I have asked you're not
the way it should be conducted, Chairman.
Yeah, sometimes we take that route, so it's okay.
It's a very tedious route, but go ahead. Yes, I can see.
Honorable Chair, this is an acceptable comment from the Honorable CS. We sat here and listened to you, take us through you for 1 hour. It was extremely tedious, and we did not complain.
We didn't complain.
So if you answer my questions, we will move quickly and get out of here as soon as possible. So you can see that it was a self-declaration, not the standard expected by the Act. Let's go to the question on corrupt practices.
But Chair, with all due respect, why do you say it is not accepted by the Act? Can you cite the Act?
You have said
you know that you want me to be saying yes or no. don't agree with that. So can you go to the Act and cite that for me?
Honorable Mbadi,
Yes.
you are required to provide confirmation that none of these people are listed on World Bank and PPRA list of ineligible farms. Surely that does not mean that they can tell you themselves that we are not listed. That is not the standard. Secondly, on corrupt practices, they have also provided a notarized declaration. That is a sworn
So can I just respond?
Yes.
I have clear information that even though they did this sworn affidavit, it was confirmed through checking the website of World Bank to confirm the same. So if you want me to state that on record, I'm stating that that was checked and was found.
It is not in this report by KA.
Well, you don't have to put everything on report, but I'm just reporting. That's why.
It's okay.
Pardon?
Let's move on because I have very
What I'm saying,
Chair.
you know,
Just through you, Chair. I don't know, what is our brother? What has just happened to you? What are you saying? That they don't have to do that? That is exactly the crux of the matter of Adani. That is it, Bro John. If you don't see it, then we're wasting our time here.
So I'm also reporting to you, Onyonka. You can have your opinion. My opinion is this. I'm under oath, and I'm stating as follows. The evaluation committee did check the World Bank sites and confirmed that that is the case.
Through you, Chair, can I respond?
Sure,
In the report here, that statement is made is propaganda. It's not there.
As I had indicated, I think let's give Senator his time.
Thank you, President. I'm just making a point of information. Thank you.
Chairman, over the page, the law against CS is that they are supposed to confirm that they are not subject to any current legal proceedings. That is over the page on the parameter of insolvency. Do you see that, Honorable Chair? Honorable CS, if you note
That is, you are asking about the criminal conviction?
No.
Which one?
The parameter is insolvency. They are supposed to confirm that they have not been suspended and is not subject to any current legal proceedings. Correct. Now, what did they provide in the column for indicators?
Provided a sworn affidavit, no financial statements, as at 31st March 2023.
You are reading a totally different document.
Which one?
The document I have says they provided audited financial statements. There is no mention of an affidavit.
I am mentioning it because I'm under oath. And I want to, so that I make your work easy, Senator Sifuna, because you will ask me. I'm telling you that this audited financial statement as of 31st March 2023 was provided under a sworn affidavit. If you want evidence of that, we can.
Honorable Mbadi, you are a CPA, I'm a lawyer. You know for a fact that whether somebody has live criminal or civil proceedings going on is not contained in financial statements. There has to be something else to confirm that there doesn't exist any litigation.
You see, what was the indicator? The indicator was proponent to provide audited financial statements.
No.
That is what I have in the sheet.
Under the law,
my chair, please. Let's read. Allow me the law. I'm reading from my documents. I'm reading my documents.
I'm reading your document.
So, Chair, what do you have under indicator?
Let's direct your conversation to the Chair.
The Chair, just allow me to read. Yes.
Can you read the indicator?
Honorable Chair.
Number 7.
We are here. Honorable Chair, I am reading the Honorable CS's own documents. He's the one who's attempting to amend the document. It says one of the parameters, and it is in the law, is you need to confirm that it is not, the entity is not subject to any current legal proceedings. That is not something that can be found in financial statements.
So where do you get the indicators from? Chair, we have three items here. There is insolvency, tax compliant, and criminal conviction. Now, under insolvency, it is not insolvent, under receivership or bankrupt, and its affairs are not being administered by a court or judicial officer, its business activities have not been suspended, and it is not subject to any current legal curriculum. And then that is why the financial statements were provided.
That's what I'm saying, CS. It is not the requirement, the required document to demonstrate that people have no litigation cannot be the financial statements. Let me move on to the tax compliance in the jurisdictions in which it has local tax presence. It says here in the remarks that you provided an Indian income tax return acknowledgement. Is it the position that Adani only operates in India?
Chair, I may not know how many countries Adani operates in, but I know that the mother or the parent country where tax compliance is domiciled is India.
But the requirement of in which it has local tax presence.
That is what is in the law.
Okay, let me move very quickly, Honorable Chair, to page actually 22, Honorable Chair. I wanted to ask Chair, the CS needs to listen to the question so that he doesn't.
Yeah, I think that's not fair to me. Have I been answering my own questions?
When I'm going to ask the question, I can see you engaged in another conversation.
You can't only the CS multitask.
I know the CS, Honorable Chair. I know you cannot multitask. I know you.
Just go ahead. Ask your question.
Yes, under the special purpose vehicle provision there, you will see that there is a requirement you clear, that the proponent should clear the nexus between Adani Airport Holding Limited and Abu Dhabi Consortium Company. That is at page 37 of the PIP. CS, can you confirm whether that has been done?
Chair, I think let us not mix issues here. This was a recommendation for detailed due diligence, which is still ongoing.
Correct.
So that will be determined later.
So you're saying it has not been done?
It has not been done.
Okay.
Or if it has been done, it has not been communicated to the National Treasury.
Now, there was a discussion also, Chair, on the question of employment. And this is at page 27 of the same document. Your counterpart from Treasury was here, not Treasury, from Transport, and he told this committee that all current employees of KA will be offered an opportunity to work once Adani take over the airports. If you read at page 27 on employees, it talks about the proponent proposes to offer employment to a mutually agreed percentage of current employees of the contracting authority on terms and conditions as provided in the concession agreement. What percentage were they proposing, if you are aware? What percentage are they saying they can absorb?
I'm trying to get part of my answer to that question because I've read it earlier, even though that was what was offered by the proponent. I may not have the percentages, but the recommendation from the committee was very clear.
I'm talking about their proposal. What were they proposing?
That was proposal of Adani.
What were they proposing? What percentage?
I can't be able to yeah, so the percentage they are taking, I may need to cross-check in their proposal. It might be in the proposal document which we have here. Very well. But one thing that I want to be clear on is that was their proposal, but the recommendation of the committee is totally different. The committee is recommending as follows, that the Kenya Airports Authority should ensure that current employees of JKIA are onboarded by the consortium. concessionaire on priority basis.
Very well, you have said you don't know what percentage you are proposing. In the final question on this document here is that therefore CS, the conclusion that is found at, this page is not numbered, but I suppose it's page 30. There are conclusions and recommendations there, and the conclusion is that the proponent has provided all documentation in accordance with the requirements of Section 41 of the PPP Act 2021. That conclusion and recommendation cannot be true, Honorable CS, after what we have gone through. There are gaps in the documentation.
Chair, I agree that there are gaps, and those gaps clearly have enumerated. The first one was 22, there are 19. Those are all documented. The PPP committee made recommendation that before we go to the project development phase, then these are supposed to be provided. So they are properly documented. And by the way, the committee will not approve the project, the process will not proceed to conclusion until and unless those conditions are met.
Okay, then you speak a working paper, which I think you have annexed as Annexure E. And Honorable Chair, this one I have problems with it, the same problem I had with the document that the CS referred to. These recommendations of the PPP Directorate, because they are important, Honorable Chair, you will notice that first they are unsigned. They are unsigned, Honorable CS. Is it possible for recommendations of the PPP Directorate to take the form that you have brought before this House? And Annexure E.
Mr. Chairman, maybe these are technical working papers, the way I understand it, and it was submitted to the committee. Once it is submitted, then a decision is taken and they're adopted. But if you want the directorate, if it's a requirement, then you can ask the directorate to confirm the same. But these are information from the directorate, so I don't see why they should.
If you were to encounter that document, Honorable CS Mbadi, in your office, it is not on letterhead, it is not signed by anyone, and then somebody tells you these are the recommendations of a PPP Directorate, would you accept that standard?
You know, if I encounter documents anyhow in my office, I would not treat them seriously.
Thank you. I'm not treating this one seriously.
I only treat seriously a document that someone can own.
Honorable Chair, let me move to something he said about the powers of this PPP committee. Honorable CS, you read to us the law again on PPP, and it says that it is the committee to make the decision approving a PIP, right? That is the law. The law you read us. Are you aware whether the decision of the PPP committee is subject to appeal or direction from any other quarters? Under the law?
I haven't seen that in the law. I have read the law. I have not seen where it can be appealed, but you may cite.
Can a procuring entity direct the PPP on what to do? The PPP committee?
This committee is supposed to work independently.
Very well. So you have attached a letter here and Annexure L. I want you to go with me there. There's a letter and Annexure L. It's actually a memo. This memo is originating from Henry Ogoe, the acting managing director of KA, the procuring entity, addressed to the chairperson PIP Evaluation Committee. Honorable Mbadi, please read for us the last paragraph on that letter.
You are therefore directed to reconvene the committee sittings and amend the report accordingly.
Do you think that is proper for the procuring entity to be directing the PIP committee to reconvene so that they can amend their report?
Yeah, I don't think this letter was to the PPP committee.
What does it say at the top?
This is chairperson of PIP Evaluation Committee.
You don't see any problem?
Which is a technical body, basically from KAA. It's actually the KAA which is leading it with the directorate. It's not a directive to the committee, as you had earlier indicated.
Okay? Let's see what the committee recommends under Annexure M. Honorable Chair, Annexure M, there is a recommendations of the PPP Directorate. I don't know if we're together, Chair, or I'm moving too fast.
I'm with you, Chair, I'm aligned. I'm moving as fast as Senator Sifuna is moving.
Again, Chair, I have similar problems with this document. The document is not on letterhead. It is not signed by anyone. This is the PPP Committee Technical Working Paper on the Kenyatta International Airport. Now, at page 9, there is a recommendation at the bottom there on the Mbadi. I wish that you read it for the committee as well. Page 9 of that report.
I can read.
Paragraph 6.
Let me read it. The Evaluation Committee made recommendations which the PPP Directorate endorses and conveys.
You are reading the wrong document.
Okay.
There is Annexure M. Annexure M.
So which document do you have? Could you kindly read it? Yes. So that we don't go back and forth. Is it, because you said paragraph 6, recommendations of
Mbadi, this is your own document. I'm going by the way you file them. It's Annexure M on my file. Annexure M on my file at page 9.
Chair, let me read what I have. If you have another one, you can read it, Senator Sifuna, so that we can know which one is the correct one.
Read yours.
Recommendations of the PPP Directorate. Okay. My apologies, I think we got another one.
Oh, you are accusing me of reading my own things? Yes. You are the one reading the wrong things.
You see, Senator Sifuna, these documents are many and bulky.
But you went ahead to accuse me of reading the wrong documents. I am using your bundle. This document came from
me. Just stay focused and read what you want me to read. I think we don't have luxury of time. In several respects, as detailed in the observations above, the feasibility study report submitted by the proponent has not fully satisfied the evaluation criteria of project feasibility and affordability. The evaluation committee made recommendations which the PPP Directorate endorses and conveys to the PPPC.
Thank you. I just needed you to cover that part under the recommendations, which has called out that the proponent has not fully satisfied the evaluation criteria of the project. Chair, allow me to conclude, because I can see, I know that my colleagues would also want to add something. There is a communication, the last annexure actually, Chair. I think it's, this one is XYZ, the last one. There is a letter dated 11th March 2024. It originated from Christopher Kirigwa, the Director General of Public-Private Partnerships, to the Honorable Solicitor General, Shadrach Mose. I wanted confirmation that there was a response to that letter. Did the Solicitor General nominate a state council as per the request of the PPP Directorate?
Yeah, we could have Kirigwa is here. If you got a response, he could just respond to that so that I don't have to go over the point.
It's okay, you can delegate for that response.
Thank you, Chair. Senator Sifuna, confirm, Honorable, we did receive a response and nominated individual.
Where is that response?
Honorable, I'll check if we have it here, but I'll try within the course of this meeting, I will share it with you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So it's not here?
It's not here, you're right.
Chair, I yield it back to you.
Thank you. Before I give the next senator to give a comment, CS, on the issue, the question that was raised by Senator Sifuna on the evaluation report, you indicated that you were only concerned with the mother country, that is India. Yet in your response, page 3, you quoted the act that said you needed to check
due diligence on the private party under Section 41 of the PPP Act is conducted by the Directorate and the contracting authority to confirm that the private party is not debarred by any country or any international organization from participating in PPPs or similar arrangement. So is it your word that you only concentrated on India? Chair, let me make it clear. Number one, that there is World Bank sites where you can get this information, and that was checked. Two, the proponent provided what we call notarized documents by external counsel. So if you have all that, and they are supporting, and this, at this stage, Chair, I want us to also be very clear. There are two due diligence that need to be done. The first one is a preliminary due diligence, which is high level. And then there will now be a detailed due diligence under Section 7, which is now going on. So not all due diligence would be done at that stage. There is due diligence that you do to give way and give room to the next. That is why there are timelines. Some of the timelines are very short, by the way. So, Chair, I want to say that this process is ongoing. As a matter of fact, if it went to conclusion, the Senate would now be investigating a matter that has all the facts presented. But as it is, there are certain aspects of it that could still be ongoing. And I know you're new in the department, but also from your documentation, this PIP came in April 2023. But it was only acted upon in March 2024. And it took 10 days even to have an evaluation report. Are you not reading something that's not correct with that process?
I'm not. In fact, Mr. Chairman, I've really taken note, and also as an auditor, I really read this act. The proposal that was submitted in 2023 did not proceed further. And there could be many reasons. In fact, this project of procurement is a very interesting one, PIP. If you don't comply, then it just stops. And you can resubmit again. So the one that we are dealing with, Chair, is the one for March 1st, 2024. The one for 2023 April did not proceed. And there were other interested parties which, instead of bringing a PIP proposal, as is expected by law, wrote expressions of interest. And there is nowhere in the law where it is provided that you proceed with the expression of interest. I've had question asked that there are other people who are interested. There is no PIP on JKIA.
A point of order.
Those were expressions of interest.
Point of order, Chair. I think the CS is misleading the committee. You yourself have listed the procurement methods that are allowed under the PPP Act. In your own response, you have said competitive bidding is a way of procurement under this Act. Why are you ruling out expression of interest? It's a competitive bidding process.
But, Chair, I was responding to PIP. We have three methods. The contracting authority can choose any. 4 methods. The contracting authority can choose any. I'm not ruling out expression of interest.
Chairman, that is where the problem is. It cannot make sense that it is up to the procuring entity to determine which process it will going to use. So CS Mbadi, when did, because the CS for transport was in the Senate in 2023, and he told us publicly that the policy of government was to float an expression of interest, international one, for the development of JKIA. When did that policy change? Because you cannot tell us that you leave it to the procuring entity to determine PIP, and yet PIP, by its own nature, is supposed to be unsolicited. So if KA secretly decide that we're only going through privately initiated proposals, how do they just sit in the dark and wait for people to initiate proposals? That does not make any sense.
Chair, unfortunately, that is the law. You see, let me go back.
That's not the law.
Chair, let me just explain. The point of argument, Honorable Sifuna's opinion, Honorable Onyonka's opinion, Mbadi is also entitled to this opinion. And let me give my opinion. This area of PPP, Honorable members, is a new area.
That is why we came up with a law in 2021. And if you look at the act, I wish I had that act, where is it? If you look at the law, stay here with me. If you look at the law, under section 4.2, it says the provisions of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 shall not apply to a public-private partnership. It goes even ahead to say that subsection 5, where there is a conflict between the provisions of this act and the provisions of any other written law, the provisions of this act shall prevail. This is still a very new, nascent area, if you ask me. And it is something that may not take the conventional route. In fact, I was looking at the procurement methods provided and wondering, how come it starts with direct procurement? If you look at the four, the first one is direct procurement, the second one is PIP, then the third one is now competitive bidding, and the last one is restrictive. And the law does not say that the most preferred is competitive. This is a PPP, private individuals with their money coming to invest in one country. So it is not something that you are not thinking. I'm saying the law.
This, I think Senator Onyonka, being the person who questioned this statement, I'm now giving you your opportunity for the 5 minutes. Thank you. So that you can ask your questions. Thank you. I wanted to literally ask my brother John Mbadi that he needs to understand there is the CS Finance Treasury. Boss, if you were to borrow money under any auspices for your country, what would you negotiate for? Value for money, straight bidding, reasonable expectation, public participation. Do I need to go through those things? Let me come to my questions. Chair, thank you for giving me the opportunity. If we go back to the Hansard, I wanted to ask CS John Mbadi, when you go to the Hansard, the CS Honorable Chirchir, when we asked him, and I would want this question to be answered by your DG if possible, but that's up to you. Were there any other companies that actually made an offer over this or inquired about this transaction that you gave to Adani, other than Adani? Because when I look at these documents you've given here, you could have actually thought this report was being written by Adani, the figures are being put in by Adani. Of course, Your Excellency John, you are not there, but you would think all these guys who work for the PPP who are Adani employees. By the way, have any of you gone to India recently? So those are two questions you can answer. Waziri?
Let me respond. Let me ask Raila first, because you wanted him to respond. I don't want to appear like I'm gagging him and maybe concealing any information. Once it's done, maybe I'll add what I wanted to say. Go ahead. DG.
Thank you, Senator. Through our submission, Senator, we have, through the Chair, we did submit a letter that was shared to us by the State Department of Transport. There were other expressions of interest on the letter of 2023 that indicated the companies that had expressed interest. Adani had also expressed interest in April 2023. Honorable Member, let me clarify on that. That proposal was never sent to us at the Treasury. The only proposal that was sent to us at the Treasury was the March 1st, 2024 proposal by Adani. And thereafter, Adani did make payment for the PIP.
Thank you. Could I ask you a following through you, Chair? Do you have any correspondence from the people who actually showed interest in this work?
Chair, through the Chair, the only correspondence we do have is one, the Adani proposal that was sent to us in April 2023. We were in copy of that.
Thank you. So, you don't have any other company that you think was interested in filing the documents to make an inquiry to ask the Kenya Airports Authority whether there was need for the authority to provide services for them to go and check at the port in Mombasa, go to Eldoret. You have no letter like that.
Chair, through the chair, refer to you to the exact letter, which is on the...
No, you already said you didn't have any letter. So which one are you bringing?
The one that came to us
from Adani.
No, not from Adani. The one that
you just said you didn't have any other letter.
The letter from Adani.
Let's have the letter.
Chair,
please. Let me give her 1 minute.
I'll ask you to kindly open section W.
That letter is from who?
State Department of Transport. The one from Adani is the one that came in April.
You know what you're doing? You're assuming all of us are stupid. Stop that. Did you receive a letter through you, Senator, from any other company other than Adani requesting to do this project?
The answer is no, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to table, I have 3 letters which were written by 2 different companies. Adani was the 3rd one. The follow-up question I would like to ask, Chair, after I've tabled this, can you table that? I will. After I've tabled this, is this: did you correspond to any other company because they have your stamps, their documents were received? Did you write back to either express disappointment or tell them they had not qualified for this transaction?
The clerk can assist to get the document.
Yeah, the clerk, you can come, I give you this, and you can show them to them.
So that we can also...
And Chair, I would like in a very fast way, I'm going to read this letter. One is from a company called GMR. It's actually a company from India. All right? And Chair, I never solicited these documents. It's the public who have been sending, I think, the owners of these companies. They say submission of expression of interest, letter of interest for exploring the development management operations of Jomo Kenyatta Airline. This dated the 16th of November 2022. The next letter, and I will table this, the other company is called Nexus Logic. This is an American company that required security provision requesting for the executives from a Corporation America Airports Authority, which is called CAAP, and a company called Nexus Logic. They wanted to come to Jomo Kenyatta Airport on the Wednesday, 10th of July 2024. Then they wanted to come to the Mombasa International Airport, and they were going to Kisumu and Eldoret. And this letter is here. It's received by your office, and I have that. And I would also like to table you the letter from Adani, which is written on the 31st of March 2024. So I would like to table, Chair.
The letters, could I just confirm, Chair, the letters were addressed to who?
The first letter is addressed to Hon, the Principal Secretary, Minister of Transport, Infrastructure, Transcom House, Ngong Road. That's the first one from GMR. The second letter is addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Airports Authority, and they even say it was hand-delivered. The second letter was actually to the Managing Director, Kenya Airports Authority in Nairobi, Kenya, and all these documents were received
so can I just
stamped by your office.
So can I just respond, Chair? First, we have been talking about...
Chair, I have not finished through you before he responds. Please let me interrupt.
Responding to your earlier question, I said...
No, let me just finish this.
But we would still want to see your document.
Here you go.
Yes. Chair, on those documents, you know, when you table a document, it's my right to respond to those documents. So before you proceed, can I respond?
But you look at them, what are you answering? You've not even seen them.
You have read. That's why I have asked you.
John, I haven't read the details.
I have asked you.
Yes.
Who are they addressed to? Chairman, can I go ahead and respond? Chair, we have been talking about the law here. PIP process is a process. You address the proposal to the authority. If you write to President Ruto, that cannot be a PIP proposal. It cannot go anywhere.
So the first letter was addressed...
Yes, when I respond.
The first letter, I'm just giving...
CS is wasting our time.
You are equivalent to maybe...
Allow the CS. There's nothing we are discussing, John.
Please, let's respect each other.
Allow the CS to...
If you ask me a question, I have come here, this is a matter of national importance, for heaven's sake. Let us be
the reason why I am reacting to you the way I am is because you've not even seen
I have not come here.
You're busy responsible.
I have come here.
These things you can't gatekeep anymore. Gatekeeping.
And please,
we must deal with this issue nationally. It's a national
right here. Supply information. Wait for the information. If you don't need it, Kenyans need it.
Proceed. Order, Senator Onyonka.
Kenyans need the information. And I'm giving it to you.
Honorable CS, now you are heckling. You are out of order.
You're equally heckling me.
This is the tradition of ODM to heckle.
You are out of order.
Chair, you can allow monopoly members to ask questions. Can you also ask?
No, these are not point of order. These are not point of order on the Yes. Honorable Chair, the CS must learn to respect the Parliament. Even when he was in this house, members of the executive never used to speak to you the way you are speaking to us. We defer to you because you are a former colleague, but you cannot behave the way that you are behaving. Honorable Chair, just a minute. Honorable Chair,
yes.
If the CS is tired of answering questions by the representatives of the people, let him tell us. Let him tell us. He can walk out and come back on a day that he feels his temperament is something that is befitting of a cabinet secretary of the Republic of Kenya. This is Parliament. We are not here to be nice to each other. You are saying you are giving answers to the public. Those public don't ask you those questions anymore. They ask us. We are the ones elected by the public. So, Honorable Chair, I think the CS must apologize for throwing a tantrum here. Yet we are here on serious business to be able to find answers to the questions of the public.
To be fair to the CS, because he came here to give his answers, and everybody...
Chair, it's not a favor. Let him not behave like it's a favor for CS to appear before cabinet.
If we avoid unnecessary interjections and give each other time, I believe we are going to complete this issue with clarity.
I have not even finished my time. I didn't even do
I had given him an opportunity to answer that issue and these letters that you have provided.
Chair, with a lot of respect, please allow me. I would like you to allow me.
You are not even giving me an opportunity to say anything.
I am.
And as I said the other day, let's not just interject on every syllable of every word that somebody says. Let's listen to the CS, give him time, we'll listen to you with your questions, so proceed with your questions.
Absolutely.
And allow his one.
Chair, that's what I'm asking. Allow me, I've tabled the documents, let him listen to me. I ask him 3-4 questions, then he can answer my questions.
Ask.
Thank you, sir.
You have the floor now.
When you did CS, and again I want to ask your friend who is DG, there was a section when Honorable Sifuna was expressing the matrix under which when you are doing the evaluation. Do you remember the section where we are talking about whether this company has been involved in corruption, whether it has been taken to court? You've seen that? Did you find out what the historical record of Adani is? That will be a question to you. And then, Chair, my last question that I will ask will be to the CS. So please, CS, I want to, or you can also answer if you're comfortable. So the last question I want to ask out of the list of my questions, if you look at the section where you are actually again interrogating the issue of due diligence, I have information that if you look at who the ownership of Adani is, you actually cannot know who the owners are. All right, there's information that the Sultanate of Abu Dhabi has got shareholdings to Adani, and there is also the issue that the Indian Prime Minister Honorable Modi actually controls 58% of the Adani empire. Do you have any such information or not? And then conclusively, I wanted to ask my last question, Chair. I hope somebody is jotting down those questions.
there is an amount of money that the government of Kenya, when you were sitting and discussing under the IPP agreement, that $48 million will be given to the government. Explain to us how you arrived at that figure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Gracias. Thank you, Chair. First, Chair, let me be very clear that I am not in any way treating the Senate with a condescending attitude. I am very respectful to the Senate. I know that you have a constitutional mandate to hold the government to account, including my office. And the only concern that I have is, Chair, when I started, when the Honorable Senator Sifuna started, I asked whether I should just wait, he finishes his questions and I respond. And I was told no, I could continuously respond as matters come by. Now when it comes to Senator Onyonka, it changed, and I didn't know at what point it actually changed. And so I thought I should address the issue that was raised to me. Now, Chair, in terms of due diligence, I want to again repeat, there are two levels of due diligence. The first one is high level, where you just look at a few indicators, and that is the indicators that were shown. We are at the phase of a detailed due diligence process. If we could just allow the process to be concluded, then some of the questions that we have would perfectly be answered. And again, Chair, I want to just address the issue of Senator Onyonka. I don't think those letters you write to us were copied to the Directorate. If they were addressed to any other person, it is the responsibility of the contracting authority to forward
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair. If you look at those letters, they are received at the office of KAA.
Just for clarity, yes, because that's why
the letters are received by KAA. Let me to the public.
Let me guide. And that's why I was asking for these letters. Yes. There are 3 letters, and it's only received at Kenya Airports Authority, and they're not here. That is one for Nexus Logic. The other one is also stamped by the Kenya Airports Authority, and they're not here. The other one by GMR is not received by any entity. So I would suggest for these ones, because we can always invite the KAA again and again to appear before us. You know, they were here, and I wish you had produced this one.
Can I get a clarification from you?
Yes.
You know, when the CS was responding, you remember the document that I referred to him, a letter forwarding the PIP. It actually originated from the PS of transport. And his answer, you can play back the answer, was that KAA is domiciled at the ministry. So that if a letter has been sent to KAA, it is with the ministry. That's what he said.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to guide.
He cannot run away when it is inconvenient and say we have not seen it.
And Chair, because I'm saying that what is not there in those letters?
No. I just want you to understand. Yes. Because I don't want us to just discuss something that is away from the purview. What I'm trying to say is,
Yeah, this is evidence.
listen, we have admitted this to the committee.
Thank you.
We have them.
So
but
I'm saying that it's an acceptable,
but I'm
that's
saying,
evidence.
No, we have admitted them. But what I'm trying to say, and that is what the CA is saying, I'm just trying to guide you so that the relevant questions go to the right people. Because the letter has been received.
On my knees, I ask you,
Yes.
who do you want me to question?
Listen, I'm guiding you. It is received by KAA. KAA is domiciled at the Transportation Department. We have the Treasury here, and we have the PPP. It's good to be fair to the CAs, so that they answer the right questions. Your question, nothing stops this committee from inviting the KAA again and the PS Transport to come and answer on this. So we admit this, and then we admit this.
Excuse me, Chair. The reason why we called my brother John Mbadi to come here is because the Minister of Transport had already lied under oath. He said there were no letters. So we have the letters. We are tabling them, Chair. Please, Chair. serve Kenyans well, they respect you for many years. The reason why those letters are there is because we must interrogate how did Adani come to Kenya and how did they start what they're doing.
And I agree with you.
And I've not asked you about Adani with Cherargei, Adani with Chief, and I've not gone there.
And I agree with you.
How did one company take 7 state corporations and is running roughshod over everybody, and every government officer who's coming here is defending them and not giving us answers at how it happened? That is why this committee is here today.
To help Senator Onyonka, I think what has been demonstrated by those letters is that not every PIP proposal or communication on the development of JKIA left Kenya Airports Authority.
Yeah.
So the ministry can confirm, at least the PPP secretariat is here and the Ministry of Treasury is here. Let them confirm that the only communication that has come from the procuring entity called KAA is with regards to Adani. So that we draw our own conclusions during report writing that there is somebody at KAA who determines what to forward for evaluation by PPP and which ones do not go to.
You've got my point.
That's all they need to confirm.
Yes.
Let them confirm.
Yeah. Chair, maybe my presentation was too long. But let me again repeat. The only PIP proposal received procedurally at the directorate was the one of Adani of 1st March. In fact, I even mentioned there was an earlier one of 2023. It was not procedurally brought to our attention. We have only come to know about other expressions of interest through a letter. There's no other proposal. And if there is, and by the way, the law is clear, you go to the contracting authority with PIP. But I want to ask Chris, there is no information as far as I'm concerned, Chairman, that we are holding. And that is why we have documented all the other expressions of interest from 2023 to date. And we are not gatekeeping for anyone. I have no reason to gatekeep. So I would want to ask Chris, please again inform this committee whether you are aware of shareholding of Adani, whether Prime Minister Modi has 58% of shares, or 68 or 100, and this one from UAE. With your permission, Chair, could I ask General?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members. Let me start with the question about the earlier question. Yes, the PPP Directorate had one representative who went to India for the due diligence exercise, which is not yet concluded.
Chair, could I stop him right now? Allow him to finish because of point of information, Senator. Okay. Allow him to finish.
Yeah. That's on this Adani proposition. Secondly, matters of corruption and matters of the history of Adani. Adani did make a formal submission which was notarized by the attorneys. We gave a confirmation about corrupt practices, and also as a treasury, we did look at the World Bank the bad list, and we confirmed at the evaluation stage they were not on that list. Honorable Chair, we also confirmed this morning that they were still not on that list. That's Adani Airport Holdings. So we do confirm that. Chair, there's also a matter that has come in about the documents received by on the airport concession. Chair, I'd like to confirm a few things. We did see, I've seen the document that the honorable member has indicated, the one from they're called GT, I think GTR. GMR, yeah. Yeah, so I confirm this. We were not in copy of those that document. That document was never sent to us as the Treasury. We've also seen the only document that came to us is a PIP proposal that was sent to us on the 1st of March 2024 and the one of April 2023. The one of April 2023, we were only in copy. I submit.
Yeah, so your question is answered, Senator Sifuna, on the issue KAA chooses what to forward and not to forward. That is something that as a committee we have to discuss in our next meeting, but you can ask your questions now.
Chair, thank you, Chair. There's just one item, just one small item. The matter on the letter that we saw from the GMR proposal, we actually saw it on social media. We did not see it based on a formal submission. I think it.
Chair, for just a second, I want him to produce to this committee the delivery books and all the delivery books which they received during that period, so that we can run through and make sure that that letter was actually delivered. And the next action, which didn't take place, Chair, is that once they got those letters and they had picked on Adani, they decided to ignore everybody else who had an interest and picked one horse, and that's what they're running with. Thank you, Chair. And I would like him to explain what they actually did in India. You remember I asked the question? It's something I know, Chair, a little bit. I'll say it later.
Chair, there was also no response on the question of the shareholding of the company. So let's not move to Senator Cherargei before the because you will remember when we were taking you through the documents, I asked the question whether the nexus between Adani and the Abu Dhabi consortium has now been established, and you have a response on record. I'm just reminding you as you deal with the question of shareholding.
Chair, can I just repeat again, because it should be very clear. What is the role of National Treasury in all this? It's directorate, the PPP directorate. Have we received any other PIP proposal on JKIA apart from Adani? The answer is no. To repeat on record, no. If there is any document you have there, to the directorate. I want to be very clear as to whether anybody from Treasury alongside representation from KAA and that is the assignment they were given, and that process is still ongoing.
The issue of shareholding.
Chris Krieger can respond. Actually, I asked you specifically to talk about any information you have about the shareholding of Adani.
Shares were owned by Adani Enterprise Limited. They were Mr. Pravan Adani, who owned Pritesh Shah, one share, Kruthath Thaka, one share, Sai, one share, and Ashish Shah, one share, which holds a total of 350,250,000. This is what was submitted to us, Chair, during the evaluation stage. This was an authorized document provided by Kenya Airports Authority, by Adani. Through Kenya Airports Authority. I submit.
All right.
Chair, there is an independent way. Surely, you cannot rely on the entity declaration. There exists mechanism of independent ascertainment. Has that been done? And then DG is aware that they had proposed that in the first 2 years after effective date, that they should be allowed to change shareholding. It is there in the proposal. Honestly, what are we doing?
And Chair, I will not tire from repeating. That's why I'm saying we have 2 levels of due diligence. The detailed due diligence, where you will get all those facts, and it is good it is not being conducted now and not then, because then you will be very clear on the shareholding of this entity. Why can't we just allow the process to conclude? The process is ongoing. Section 27, Honorable Sifuna, being a lawyer, I know you are very strict to legal provisions. I have mentioned two sections, Section 41 and 27. 41 is due diligence at that high level. There is Section 27. The process is on.
Honorable Mbadi, you and I agreed a long time that when it comes to matters of finance, I will not question your judgment. I wish you remember that you also gave me undertaking that when it comes to law, you will defer to my knowledge on the law. Honorable Mbadi, I know these days you don't attend social functions, but surely if your son tells you they want to marry somebody, the first thing you will do is to find out which family that person comes from. Who's the mother of this child? Who's the father of this child? Will be auditing that ownership after the marriage has already been consummated and you find your son has married from a rich doctor's family. Surely.
Chair, and I agree. And by the way, that was an agreement some time back when we used to lead a very serious party together. But let me just put it this way, that I respect Sifuna in matters law. He respects me in matters finance. The predicament we find ourselves in is we are dealing with a mongrel of both law and finance. In that case, we just need to respect each other and guide each other systematically. Let me put it this way. Now, if you want now to go to the details and audit and the actual ownership, verify, then you move to the next level, where we are. Section.
Before I give a friend of the committee, I have a member of the committee who wants to ask a question. So let me things are changing very fast. So, Vice Chair. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you know, I served with Honorable Mbadi in the National Assembly for 10 years, and I know him as a man who will not allow the law to be circumvented by any way or any other process that is of public interest. Chair, I would ask the CS this. Now that, you know, from what has been tabled, at least I have seen one letter, one by a company called Nexus something, that one was received by KAA. And now that there is evidence that there was no full disclosure by the contracting authority, that is KAA, are you then, as Treasury and the PPP Directorate, ready to open up this process for competitive bidding? Now that it's not only Adani that has shown interest in this whole thing, considering the issues that have already been raised about Adani, that is one. Chair, I also needed to know, where are we in this process, or what stage at the moment? And Chair, you know, also knowing CS Mbadi very well, that he's a man who will only do what will be of value to Kenyans, that there will be value for money. I'm sure you are, you know, undertaking, a process to know that there are other interested parties who will do the JKIA airport on less money than what is being offered by Adani. One of the examples I will give you is that Qatar Airways at the moment is building a more sophisticated international airport at Rwanda with a 5-star hotel for less than half of the money that Adani is asking for. Would we not consider such other offers or such other groups that may give us value for our money? Thank you.
Full disclosure. You see, on what methods of procurement to use, Treasury's role is just to guide. It's supposed to be the contracting authority, because again, if we give too much directives to the contracting authority, I would again be here for interfering with the process. So we guide the contracting authority, in this case, KAA. And policy direction is from the State Department for Transport. So I want again be clear there that the policy direction will be given or is given by Transport. In terms of where we are with this process, we are at due diligence stage still. Read it when I documented the steps that have been taken. So we are at the due diligence where all the issues that are of concern to the people, including public participation, if it were not for the court process, would still be ongoing as we speak. So there you can easily pick out issues of concern. Now, as to whether there is another provider, you see, this process has not concluded. I want to come back to that again. In fact, it will only conclude when the matter goes to the cabinet, where I sit, and the Attorney General also must give authority. So this process is still going on. And when it reaches a point where we now have to make a decision presented with facts on value for money, I am sure we'll engage our minds properly to it. But I also know, because I've also heard, and I had to inquire, that there could be another interest even after Adani. I have no evidence, no documents, that there could be another interest. But then the assurance I'm given is that there is nothing that stops even from initiating another process or PIP. Even if it is a Qatari Airways, they can still initiate it now. And the only provision in law is that if that is concluded and it is better than the Adani one, then they will compensate Adani. That is what is provided in law, and to the extent that that compensation is needed to be done. So I think, if you ask me, that this process is still at some stage where I think many of us are rushing to a conclusion that is concluded. Whether it is concluded in some people's minds, I don't know, because I can't open people's minds and hearts. But what I know is, in terms of process and procedure, it is not. It has not come to the cabinet. The Attorney General has not approved it. So why are we concluding that it is concluded? For me, it is not concluded till it will be concluded.
Yeah. All right, and just to ride on what Vice Chair asked, when we are told to provide justification why the project is not suitable for open competitive procurement, in your response, you indicated time. And that is on the document that is on PPP Committee Technical Working Paper. They say the reason why is immediate need to develop the airport. It looks like an emergency. But now that you have heard there are other people who are interested, of which you are going to call KAA to come to this committee and say why they never forwarded this PIP. They only chose to forward the Adani one.
You see, Chair, that comment is actually from KAA, the contracting authority. It's not from Treasury. And it is the contracting authority which has made that observation of time. This committee to guide, the PPP committee. But I also want to say this, Chair. Truth be told, our airport needs to be developed. We have complaints about the leaking roofs. We have complained about power. As to whether this PIP was the right thing to do, for the contracting authority to address. But what I know is PIP is provided in law, and as far as where it has reached, I have no reason as CS National Treasury of the Republic of Kenya to fault any process. The process is still ongoing. So far, I have no reasons to doubt the work that has been done by both the directorate, the committee, and even the contracting authority. So whether this this should be stopped is not a decision I would sit here as CS, and that is why we have independent PPP committee to deal with that, the directorate to guide the contracting authority. If I now come here as CS Finance and say they should stop, on what grounds?
But you sit on the cabinet and you're going to discuss it there. Would you give such an opinion?
Of course, if it comes to the cabinet, I will deal with it there. And you see, whatever we will discuss in the cabinet will remain in the cabinet.
Senator Chute.
Yeah, maybe before you get Senator Chute.
I don't know what it means because I have seen dispatches from cabinet when you have meetings. Why are you saying this one will remain there? Because after cabinet meetings, I usually see something called a dispatch from cabinet on the things that you have discussed. Honorable Mbadi, we live in a country of transparency. If it is a matter affecting all of us, you cannot say as CS that it will remain there. That airport does not belong to cabinet. It belongs to all the 55 million of us. And as the house that oversights the executive, I think you should withdraw that statement, Honorable CS.
The recommendations, you know, Honorable Sifuna and I, up to recently, I've not had the luxury of being in the cabinet. And I've just been in the cabinet for a few weeks, but this is the information.
So you need some instruction.
This is the information I would supply. That communication from the cabinet will come officially. Whatever is discussed in the cabinet is not for public consumption, but what the outcome, the decision is of the cabinet will be communicated. Whoever disagrees and agrees, we will never know. And I'm not at liberty to give my opinion here because then it will be said that Mbadi was overruled. So let me go to the cabinet and engage my mind at the cabinet. Then when the communication comes, you should know it is a collective responsibility, which now I cannot run away from, even if I had a different opinion.
Okay, CS. Vice Chair, quick 1 minute.
Yeah.
Just 1 minute.
Chair, I just needed to put the record straight that the CS should also know that we in this committee or in the Senate are not opposed to the improvements and maintenance and even enlargement of development at the airport. We are not opposed to that. Neither are we opposed to the BOT, the build, operate and transfer method. We only want Kenyans to get value for money. We want the best to be given in order to do the job at the airport.
Yeah, that's setting the record straight.
Chair, I want to ask a supplementary question on what the CS has commented. CS, if you ask to district your office, there are these 4 methods of procurement, and you have been approved for advisory because the PIP proposal was brought to Treasury. And then also there are 3 other methods which are acceptable in law that can be followed. Is it possible for you as CS Treasury to guide that because of the nature of this project, let us avoid the PIP and go to competitive bidding, also noting that this project has brought a lot of public outcry. So at your level now where we are, is it possible to advise or to guide that let us stop the PIP because it was brought only by Adani, and then we open it to competitive bidding, so that also we can get an opportunity also to make sure that Adani also competes with other stakeholders who might be interested in the project.
Chair, I only want to request that I'm not pushed to step outside the law. The public-private partnerships procurement methods are outlined in law. A contracting authority may procure a public-private partnership project under this Act through A. Direct procurement, B. Privately initiated proposals, or C. Competitive bidding, and D. Restricted bidding. So either one of these can be picked and executed, so long as it is executed within the law. There will be no problem. So if it is pointed out to me clearly that there is violation of the law, I would guide otherwise. As to whether there are other PIPs, I'm yet to see. What I have seen here are letters, written, expression of interest. You know, even me, I can write to KAA and express my interest that I want to develop the airport. It doesn't have to proceed to PIP because there are conditions, there are things you have to fulfill. So if it is proved that there are some proposals that went to KAA, proposals, not expression of interest, and KAA did not act, then KAA needs to respond to Kenyans and tell us what happened. As far as I'm concerned, I want to repeat, Treasury is not in receipt of any other PIP apart from the one by
My question, Chair, is very simple. What as custodian of our treasury, is it possible to guide the government where you sit, the presidency? Is it possible to guide that this method is not the best, let us go to competitive bidding? Is it possible to guide at that level where we are today?
And again, Banasia, as you said in your response, you actually quoted section 40, subsection 2 of the PPP Act, saying that the project should be delivered at a fair market price. How would you know a fair market price if it is not competitive? That is provided under PIP. You know, we are mixing two procurement methods, Chair. You cannot have PIP and have competitive bidding. It's not practical. So under PIP, to determine that, you do due diligence, technical evaluation. And that is the process. The line we are talking about, Banasias, is the justification why the project is not suitable for competitive procurement. That is where we are. You know, the assumption here is that procurement, competitive bidding, is superior to PIP. And I'm not seeing that in law. Can someone point out to me in this act? Well, it says a law. It is a law that says, the one you are holding, this law, that you have to give justification why it is not suitable for open competitive procurement, not direct. So the one that is superior actually from that line is open competitive procurement, because you only need to give justification why you are not using that. So it must be the one that is superior. And that is required for KAA to state. And they have stated, you can agree with it, you can want you to guide them. That is a question. You see, whether you want to guide them. Chair, let us allow the technical evaluation to proceed. Once it is done, this process will even come to the cabinet. It will go to the Attorney General. All these legal provisions, in fact, the Attorney General has the capacity to even advise on the right report.
I would like to inform the Cabinet Secretary that competitive procurement under the law is superior to PIP. That is why under section 40 clause 3 paragraph J, you are required to give a justification why you can't use competitive bidding, because that's the default procurement standard. You are supposed to justify why you can't use competitive bidding. So I'd like to inform you that competitive bidding is superior and the default position in procurement. So when you want to deviate from that, you must justify. Of all the procurement methods you have given, the law does not require you to say why you can't use direct procurement, why you can't use whatever request or proposal. It requires you to state why you can't use competitive bidding. Because even in Article 227 of the Constitution, clause 1, you have to procure in a competitive manner. So, competitive procurement is the most ideal, is the superior. These others are deviations and they are ring-fenced. You must justify why you are deviating from the standard or the default position. That's why the law requires that justification. So it's a superior method of procurement. That's the information I had to share, Chair. Thank you.
Actually, before you convince the Attorney General to sign the concession, you have to prove that you have complied with the law. And so that will be complied with. We are at a stage where we are still processing this transaction. It has not reached the level where now you can hold a contracting authority or anybody for failure to perform what is supposed to be performed still.
Okay, let's have, you see Senator Fernandez has been raising his hand. Let me just give him 3 minutes. He has, for the last 30 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, thank you. Waziri, relax. I'll ask Dangatton-like questions. That is very simple. I'll not complicate your life. So relax and sit. Thank you. Chair, through the Chair, Waziri,
are you using a microphone?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Am I audible enough? Thank you, Chair. Waziri and DG, are you aware that Adani company, and I'll request that you write down so that you respond once and for all. Are you aware that Adani group of companies have any affiliates in the country? Number one. Number two, there is a report by a consultancy company of America called Heidelberg Consultancy Company Limited. In the last 2 years, they uncovered tax manipulation and other illegal things that made Adani group of companies lose $100 billion. Are you aware of such? And the reason one of Swiss authorities where allegations were facing Adani company that the account in Switzerland of 310 million have been frozen. Number three, in your Annex B, you are presented on the issue of work visa. That area, Waziri, is grey. What will be the fate of Kenya Airports Authority employees who were just demonstrating the other day over their worry and the fate of their work related? And it is not clear who should Adani come with, because the issue of expatriates, the issue of qualification and what have you. Number four, there is a turn-on clause of 18% at the end of 30 years concession, period of 30 years, that there is a turn-on clause of 18%. Does it mean after 30 years, Adani will continue owning JKI, our airport, with a stake of 18% forever until Jesus comes back? Number five, I have letters here, and I don't know whether DG, you are aware, there are many letters from MPS Nyakera on developing Konsa Airport. Are there any PIPs on that matter? The sixth, Chair, I have seen most of the correspondence have the former Minister of Roads, Kipchumba Murkomen, there is a former MDK Alex Kitari, and former CS of National Treasury, CS Ndungu. Is it possible to invite them to the committee to share more light, because it looks Waziri Mbadi is shooting in the dark? Is it possible to have them, including what was happening in Dubai, under the guise of other things? So is it possible so that we can get the correct fashion? Let us have, and I want to advise CS Mbadi, we know you just came the other day. Don't carry anybody's cross. If this thing is grey, call it as it is. Run away from where you come from, and your SG is here. It is good to stand with the truth and the transparency. So if the other people messed in office, don't carry any other. Then the sixth question, I have seen the letter in Annex 5, Annex F, sorry, that was addressed to PS Dagar, and they are saying the JKA land will be provided by KA. I thought all land below is managed on behalf of National County to National Land Commission. You need to clarify that. On the issue of fixed exclusive concession fee is about 47 million, and in fact per annum, and they are saying they will adjust 10% based on inflation. Do you think this is expensive for the country? And finally, Chair, on the feasibility report that was done by KA to Adani, in your own opinion as an auditor,
Was this an insider trading, or let me, for lack of a better word, that was being used to try and perpetuate, in conclusion, Chair, to try and perpetuate giving state capture, giving upper hand to Adani group of companies that is running everybody, is running Shiv, is running now Tetraco, is running our airports. Who knows, they may come and run our wives and our children if we are not careful with this Adani group of companies. So, Chair, I request you, Mbadi, tell the country the truth. Every Kenyan, from even Suba to Nandi, would really want to know your position on this matter. And I want to say, with exception, Chair, when you took an oath of office to protect the rule of law and the Constitution, you cannot be part of an illegality. It is also your responsibility to advise the government on the rule of law and the truth, Chair. So, Chair, on this issue of Adani, I would have expected a lot from, and that is why your former colleagues in the other side of the aisle do not believe who you are, because we wanted you to tell us the truth as it should be. So please run away from this one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, whether Adani has affiliations locally, I have no idea. I think I will not allow my DG who has interacted with this a lot to tell us if he's aware of any affiliation, local affiliations, though there is nothing really wrong with having local affiliates, if you ask me, if it is procedurally done and made public. American concerned are making allegations. I have not
processing there. With who and why? On this 100 billion Buenos Aires, it is on record in the Indian stock market, the SEBI, which is stock exchange market of India, has investigated this gentleman and found out of tax manipulation and others, it is on record, is $100 billion. So it's not allegations.
So, Chair, let me again repeat what I said. We have a process that is ongoing to date. A very extensive technical evaluation. If all the facts that Senator Cherargei is bringing forth is accurate, that will be found out. It will be discovered. I want to be on record. From the information I have, my DG has not traveled to India on this matter. There is an officer from the directorate, but it's not him. Now, let's talk about the workers.
Yeah, if DG is or not, why is the CS answering on behalf of the DG and the DG just confirmed?
But Chair,
he's also an oath, so he's going to give him an opportunity, so allow the CS to file the first.
Chair, actually I wanted to raise that from the beginning.
But you are with us in Parliament, how would you know he had not traveled?
That the letter, you see, I've come to answer questions on behalf of the National Treasury.
I will.
And Chair, I would want to just request that that is respected. I am not. CS Mbadi, can I just confirm it? Senator Cherargei,
you know it's CS time to
allow the CS.
No, the deputy as you know resources, you are in charge.
Allow the CS to express himself.
But I'm saying on issue, if we want to find out if you came from Kiambu today, should we ask your vice chair? You are the one who can answer. Yes.
But you see, Chair,
there is a reason. Chair, and we are not asking that question in vain, whether the DG traveled to India and we want the passports. We will take on a hard-shaking evidence and passports and passes.
The DG will answer and the CS is done. But Chair, can I also mention, and I wanted to say it earlier, that you ruled, and I respected, that the letter to Treasury was inviting the CS. The others were to accompany me. if you look at that letter. In fact, even putting the digit under oath, the letter I have, and I want to repeat, dated 18th, was addressed to the CS, and in that letter I was asked to come with my PS, to come with the DG, and to come with other members of the committee. So I am the witness.
Yeah, but nothing stops this.
That is why the DG, he will, and I say it, he is here, he will tell you. I have just responded that the officer who came from the treasury to India for this due diligence was not the DG. If the DG went to India,
can you table the evidence of that, officer? Thank you, Chair. As a procedure of parliament, can you table the details on the date and time and the hotels you slept with? Other stories we don't want, just the official ones. We know there are many unofficial ones.
No, Cherargei, that's information.
No, Chikwaziri, you answer me through the chair.
Senator,
you are not answering the chair.
Chair.
Yes.
A public officer traveling using public resources can never be secret. If you want that information,
through you, Chair. You know, Cherargei asked about 8 questions, and we have not even had that. Through you, Chair. Can we have the 7 questions? 100%, but the CS is wasting time. The reason is very simple. Even the people who went to India and the flights they took are known, so don't go that route. You talk about, do you want this thing to continue or not? That's what
with due respect, yes. I am supplying information. Let me supply it. If you have your information, then don't ask me. If you don't want me to say what I know,
let's have the CS. I won't entertain.
I'm giving you the information I have.
I won't entertain.
The information I have is that there is a team.
Do you have the DG's passport for us to see whether it's travel or not? Senator Onyonka,
can we be in control of this meeting?
Senator Onyonka, I will switch off your microphone. I will switch off your microphone. Allow the CS to answer so that Senator Chute can also ask questions. Let's not waste time with interjections that are not necessary. Give him 2 minutes. Senator Chute, I'll give you a minute after he answers the question. Otherwise, why are we asking the question if we cannot allow the CS to answer them? So kindly give him time to answer the questions. When a CS, go direct to the question.
I want to say the officer, if you want the information of the officer who was sent to India from the National Treasury or the Directorate, we can provide it.
Next question.
On the staff, the staff, it is clear, it was clearly spelled by the committee that all the staff of JKIA will transit. So that is there in the report. So I don't see why that should be a problem. On the issue of 18% up to 30 years, I'll ask Gregor to respond. PIPs for Konza Airport, again, Kirija, you can tell us if there is anything to that effect. Correspondence with various CSS, and I've been told not to carry anybody's cross. I am not carrying anybody's cross, Senator Cherargei, through the chair. I have no reason to. And by the way, what I'm giving you are facts. I am the CS National Treasury. When a matter like this comes up, what I do is to get the information. I have looked for this information. I have supplied the information which we have. Any other information that is flying out there, I don't have it. JKIA land will be provided by KAA, and you say that is not procedural. This is what the report captures, the report of the committee. Land acquisition or allocation should be aligned with the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport master plan and subject to availability of land and requisite approvals, in bracket KAA boards, National Land Commission, other relevant government agencies, which would include the person who is in custody of the title deeds. And that is where my office is. Noting that KAA has existing leases on land with third parties. So I think I've addressed that one. Feasibility report. The info I have, the feasibility study was done by Adani. And